So that was a new discovery I just made called Lidi Pimienta, and I'm just so in love with her. She just totally is this creative, juicy, beautiful woman, and I've been listening to her on loop since yesterday. She just like gets your mood, your all your body moving, and just like this feeling of connection and juiciness. So I'm getting on here on a live today because I wanted to talk to you about something really exciting. It's been about two times now that we've gone through a full incubator with about 10 to 12 participants. And we go on this journey because sexuality is something that so many people still are dealing with. And there's not a lot of spaces where we get to actually go in there and work on what's actually present and what's in the way and what we don't realize is that our sexual energy is affected by everything. It's affected by a whole array of things. I mean, it's not even just sexual trauma. And that's kind of what I describe in the book Sex Up Your Life. I do this whole continuum from complete disconnected sex to blissfully connected sex, but I go through and try to unravel all these different shadow places that we don't often look into to see what's actually going on. And then to sort of discover what are the different layers we have as humans that need to be brought into the court so that we can bring in our full humanity into our existence, into our sexuality, into our self expression, into our creativity, and that we have this experience of vibrancy. And so if you've been someone that's been, for instance, constantly ashamed about some of your past experiences, or maybe there's a lot of unconsciousness on your past experiences around sex, maybe you're carrying all kinds of things and it just feels like this big heavy baggage, this place is for you. If you feel like your creative spark is dull and you need some aliveness and you feel like you've been hiding in your life and your relationships just seem to be a perpetual battlefield or deceptions or constantly not living up to what you're hoping to experience in terms of connection, this place is for you. If you're ready to take on the conversations and look in deeply into yourself, because really what the best way to go forward in life is to take that big broom and sweep up and figure out what's in the way of all that crap that's in the way that of our full brilliancy, all that dust, all those particles, all those little knots, all those things that get in the way. So if you feel like, you're ready to take on stepping even more into your integration, into like your capacity for intimacy, we all have our edges. We all have our places that are like, a bit scared to connect. It could be either letting someone into your body. It could be as simple as that, but it could also be like letting someone into your heart, opening up, being vulnerable, letting that other person have a conversation. Maybe it's easy for you to have one night stands all the time, but actually to build something and to work something and to be in reality about it and work on it, that could be an edge for you because it's like you feel suffocated, for instance. There's so many things that our sexuality brings up for us. And maybe you constantly feel like you're always being used and therefore you have to protect yourself in all kinds of ways, or you don't have a voice and you can't put boundaries down. Or you feel like if you have a boundary, someone's not going to love you anymore, or you're going to be left alone. So there's all these places that sort of make our little box in which we live smaller and smaller and smaller until we start suffocating and stop being that brilliant, fully expressed, vibrant, expansive human being that we're meant to be. So I just wanted to take this moment here and tell you that this really powerful experience of 12 weeks in the co-creative incubator is this tremendous journey. And this is your opportunity to work through some of the things that you probably aren't even thinking about anymore, but are in the way of you getting into that fully self-expressed, vibrant, open-hearted, trusting, surrender possibility kind of space. And so this journey allows you to go in with all of us to go dig in and to find these kind of places that need self-expression, that need to be seen, that need to be said. You know, it's unbelievable the number of things that we've experienced that we've never told anyone about. We've never had a chance to use some of this matter for creativity. You know, we often, you know, all of us, we're a generation, we're doing personal development, and you know, we get into these formulas and want to get our relationships and have this perfect conversation that's authentic and structured, and we want to know everyone's you know, love language, and there's all these structures, but then we forget that we get into all these little boxes again, and we don't really know how to connect deeper into what's actually aligned for us, to get connected to ourselves. What is our body telling us? What is our soul wanting to say? So this is the perfect place where you get to discover yourself in this whole new way. Many people have come to this saying, you know, like, I didn't even know I was capable of doing that kind of self-expression, because we get into these techniques where we learn to tap into our like almost like as a conduit, sort of tap into something much greater, that some wisdom that we have that wants to come in and express itself in a creative way, in a kind of funky you know, shadow meet light kind of clash that allows for the most exciting art, the most exciting expression, the most exciting human beings, you know. So our program, the next program that starts is on the 11th of November. And the way it's structured is that, yeah, you come in and there's a certain level of courage that is required of you. There's a certain level of, like, you know, willingness to open and to engage, and to just be able to get in the court and say, like, okay, yes, I'm gonna get in there, because that's where the freedom comes from, is when you get into the court and do it. There's so many times in our life where we think that we're about to do something, and we just get stuck in our little habits, you know, and um, it's like we sometimes need practice and like a sort of a space, a safe space where we can start choosing a new way of being, where we get a safe place to try something different. And this is what's beautiful of this incubator, is that we're a group and we get to have all these different dynamics and learn to be seen in places that we normally try to hide and conceal and not be seen in. And you know, that is truly, truly liberating when you finally jump in and realize I don't have to be protecting myself with all these masks and all these ways of being to just make people believe I am some way. And it's like getting you in alignment with your power, with your brilliance, you know? I love it when we can bring someone's brilliance alive and we can allow them to get into this kind of poetic realm that we sometimes we forget about because we're so pragmatic and rational human beings. But we need this soul life. We need to access this juice and this beauty and this poetry. So I invite you to come for this very unique experience. We're going to be doing 6 sessions before Christmas, starting on the 11th, and then 6 after. And every time at the end of them, we get you to get in the court by getting onto a blitz, which is the spoken word blitz. You get to share some of your work and learning that, yeah, like there's power in self-expression, and there's power in authenticity, and there's power in creativity. So if you feel that this is something you're interested in, here, I'm going to show you where you can find all this information. I'm just going to pull it up here for you. Right here. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Let's see, basic. Voila, right there. So you get to see my website. So I'm going to stop. Okay, so you get to see my website. Hopefully you're seeing this, and you go all the way down to the Co-Creative Incubator, go into the details, and then you get to see what the program does, all the details, all the people's different testimonials, what you will be getting at the end of this cycle, which includes like portfolio of creative assets, because we're going to be working on creating and generating work every session. We always start off with reading one chapter of the Sex Up Your Life book, which brings in these themes, allows us to dig in and see in ourselves, where do we carry these like dynamics within ourselves? Because so much of this work is about this kind of bringing into awareness, this awakening to consciousness, and being able to see oneself in our sort of patterns, in our ways of being, and challenge ourselves, right? You'll get a chance to really, get connected to the book. You'll also have a chance to have a new awareness of yourself on your path. And you'll be able to really increase the most beautiful aspect I find of this program is really the fact that you have an opportunity to increase your capacity for intimacy with all these people, with showing yourself, because the more you realize you can show parts of your soul life, those things that pained you, or the truths that you carry, the more you practice saying them, the more you actually feel seen and accepted, even in your own self, to not have to bear these secrets anymore. Anyways, so yes, it's a lovely, powerful, raw, truthful, creative, really exciting experience. In every session that I have the participants, they always like think, okay, before the sessions they're a little bit tired, they don't want to come, and by the end they're always like all excited for what happened and what they discovered. So it's really magical. And I just hope that I can communicate to you how unique an experience this is, and entice you to come in and join us and be on this journey of these beautiful souls that are coming together to like take this big question on in their lives and allow something completely new to arise that they've been craving, this kind of connection that you've been wanting to have, the kind of self-expression you've been wanting to have, the kind of freedom that you want to have, right? So jump on to cocreativesex.com. You can also PM me with private message me if you have a question. But you can register. Registration has been open. We have people signing up. So I would love you to have that opportunity. It's a limited group, so to keep that intimacy and that power of a group. But we also need a certain amount to also create that beautiful dynamic that's alive. So looking forward to hearing from you. And yeah, it's the startup date is the 11th of November, and hopefully you register at least a week before so that you can get everything organized. You're gonna have to get yourself a book, Sex Up Your Life. You'll get a few things organized. Okay, so big hugs to you, and I can't wait to give you this opportunity, this journey of depth and connection and intimacy that we go on for 12 weeks. Talk to you soon. Bye.